And I am super excited that my right hand, our coordinator of membership and communication, Justin Fitzpatrick, is presenting today on social media and human services. This is one of those things that has become super important among the sector because it's a huge way that people communicate now. And so we wanted to ensure that, through this presentation, members were updated and have a good understanding of exactly what that means. Just popped in was our executive director, Amber Tynan. Hey, Amber. And so we won't prolong the time. We'll go ahead and let Justin take it away. We were just laughing because he probably has prepared 2 presentations, but we will see how today goes. And if we need to do a part 2, we'll certainly do that. So Justin, take it away.
Well, good morning, everyone. 2 things I want to start off first with before we get into the presentation here. And the first thing is, we were very fortunate to not have Hurricane Ian come our way here in the local Big Bend area. But if you have any friends or family that are affected by Hurricane Ian, just want to give our heartfelt support and make sure that they're doing okay through this storm, as it is affecting, a huge part of our state. Through Southwest Florida and now trekking up towards the Daytona, Jacksonville area. So I just wanted to start with that first. And then the second part of it is a little bit of background into my presentation, kind of what LaShawn said, and building out 2 presentations and one in a way, and the direction I kind of took it in and what you'll be expected to get out of it in some ways, in some areas. So when I first started this presentation, I was like, I will probably give, great information about ways to create great content and finding great ways to connect with your audience and your target audience in areas that may be missed in the human services sector or in the nonprofit sector that we recognize a lot throughout our day-to-day, just from the perspective of social media. But as I started to build out the presentation, the biggest thing that started to pop in my head was the process. I'm a huge advocate for process and understanding first, how do we build out our social media pages to fit what we're doing in our mission and vision? And then how do we effectively utilize them to grow our target audience and use them in individualized campaigns, as well as our day-to-day to highlight what we do, highlight the stories that we see every day, as well as the work that we put in every day. So this presentation gives you a little bit of both. And I took some time really to sit down and think about how could I make this presentation as appealing as possible, to make sure that we target, to not forget the process, but also to find cool and unique ways to tell our story and to show the everyday that we do in the sector of human services and nonprofit work that we see here, not only locally, but from a state capacity as well as nationally with a lot of our organizations. So this brief presentation will give some great tips in that area, and hopefully you'll walk away learning something new that you may not known, or utilizing a new tactic or resource that could help level the playing field in your agency's or organization's social media page. So I would like to start with an icebreaker. For our guest here, you can put it in the chat. You don't have to come off of mute, but if you would like to come off of mute and say it, you can. But I want to ask these 2 questions to really get us rolling, to understand some of the people we're working with, some of the social media pages that we have in our presence, and what you're looking for. So the first question is, how would you like to develop your social media presence for your organization? In what ways are you looking to further the work that you do daily within social media and highlighting it through social media and through the digital marketing space? And then the other aspect is share one social media page or one company or one brand that you would like to model your organization's social media pages after. One thing that I do a lot is I look at other pages within the area. I look at other pages within the sector that are doing some great things. And I just take little gems or little tips that they have or things that they do really well and incorporate it into our page with UPHS. So it's just a little trick that I do personally, but I know there's some social media pages that you may see every day on your social media that an organization is just like, man, they're on it all the time. So if you could just send both of these answers in the chat, and definitely get this icebreaker kind of rolling so we can understand who we're working with and what we're looking for out of this presentation a little bit. So I'll give you all a few minutes to do that. And again, for everyone that's joined us late, hi, my name is Justin Fitzpatrick, and I just wanted to start off with a brief icebreaker. Again, just understanding how would you like to develop your social media's presence for your organization, and sharing a social media brand or company or page that you see so much and so often that you want to model or see and take some things from to utilize for your organization or agency. So Yolanda said, I would like to get an understanding on how to encourage our community partners to follow us. I talk about that in this presentation, so I'm happy. That is great. Barbara says, create a social media calendar for a year. We discussed that as well in this presentation. So seeing these responses really does excite me for the information that you're about to get out of this presentation today, because I believe you will walk away with some idea of planning and executing your social media pages in the best way. Do we have any more responses before I move on from anyone? Shaquaylin says, to help everyone learn about the work we do. Perfect. And we have some great tidbits on that as well. Zoe says, decide what is worth paying to boost versus what is not worth paying. I highlight that a little bit as well too. So we're on the right path here. A lot of the answers that I'm getting are exactly what I thought I would get, and I'm happy to assist you on this journey that we'll take today via social media. Allison says, improve follower engagement rates. And then Yolanda says, what content is important to share and how to make it interesting. So I think we actually will discuss a lot of these points, and I'm so happy that you all felt not robbery to share those points, because I think many of our audience here probably have some of the same issues. So they want to see and understand how they can make that work as well. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the focus points of this presentation, I'm huge on the 5-step process, 6-step process, 10-step process, 10-point, however many processes or however long it is. I'm very huge on just creating a process. So the focus points of this presentation today are defining your organization's objectives and setting social goals. Determine your target audience, and then building out your content strategy. Once you do that, planning and scheduling your content to be put out. And that's not limited to your day-to-day. That is also with individualized campaigns or annual events that you host year to year. Sometimes we wait until the event is about to happen instead of planning to go ahead and have those posts scheduled, knowing that it's about to come up, drumming up that interest. So finding quick, efficient, effective ways to go ahead and schedule that content so it's already out there, it's already ready, you don't have to think about it. It's just something that already takes care of itself in a way. And then tracking and measuring those results. I'm huge on tracking data and understanding who we're connecting with daily. And I'll actually take us through some of the different entities that have that capability and capacity, and showing the background of Meta Business Suite, which is the back end essentially of Facebook and Instagram, where you can see the insights, ads, how much content you post, different things like that, how you're reaching people within a month span in different areas. So I'm really excited to get into this presentation. So to start, to define your organization's objectives and set social goals, let's spend some time answering this following question. You don't have to put this answer necessarily in, oh, yes, you do. You have to put this answer in the chat. What do you want your social media content to accomplish? And we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier in the chat of what we're looking to do. But Yolanda said a great answer in saying what content is important to share and how will we make that content interesting to our audience. So what content are you looking to share? Is it the stories and testimonials of the people you work with every day? Is it highlighting your employees and your staff and the work that they do every day and how excited they are to come to it? Is it events within the sector and your community partners and the collaboration that you work with every day? What content are you looking to share? So if you have any responses to that question, please feel free to share it in the chat, because I'm looking to definitely guide us on this path today to understanding what we're looking to accomplish. Margot says getting more interaction and shares. We'll touch on that definitely throughout this conversation. Lisa says resources for older adults and their caregivers, community events, and who we are. Sheena says more followers, interesting content that reflects the work that we do in the organization, and fun aspects of the program. Definitely a huge thing. And we definitely talk about the different types of mediums that you can share that in to make it look appealing to the audience that you're trying to target, whether it's in a recruitment basis, whether it's in a donor basis, but looking at that in every area and understanding how to make the content look very interesting and fun. Zoe says she manages multiple pages. For one, it's recognizing our partners. For another, it's giving our program staff content ideas to share and feel appreciated. We touch on that a little bit in both ways. Definitely finding unique ways to highlight our staff and highlight the people that do the work every day in our agency, as well as highlighting the partners and the collaboration and the collaborative events that we do all the time with them. I think that's a huge aspect of how we can win as human service and nonprofit agencies on social media, is just highlighting the collaboration and how much we work together. And, you know, we're huge on the power of the collective here at UPHS. It's a hashtag that we use in all of our posts. So just highlighting that more often. Yolanda said all of the above. I definitely understand. Barbara says for events, should we do pre, during, and post-event social media posts? Should we vary that, like to promote FOMO? I definitely understand that. And that's a huge thing. And I actually talked about some experiences that we had where that actually happened, where we promoted some stuff and showed some things that happened from events that we had. And people were like, man, I missed out. I wish I could get to it. How can I get to it next year? So we'll definitely highlight that and we'll keep it moving. So as a nonprofit, your goals could include any or all of the following. So building greater brand awareness, getting the name of your organization out more, understanding the name of your organization or understanding the work that you do. A lot of times when people see organization names, they may immediately recognize exactly what that organization is. Second Harvest, for example, is a huge brand that you see around Tallahassee that's immediately recognized from their logo. And just some bigger brands that we think of, Nike, McDonald's, the NBA, just different kinds of things that are automatically recognizable. So how do we build the brand awareness to when someone sees your logo out in the community, in the newspaper, on the news, they're immediately like, I know that organization and I want to learn more about that. Educating people about your cause and mission. So how in your post and how in utilizing social media do you educate people about what you do and the reason why you do it? We all understand that our why is the most important thing that carries us through our day, but we have to communicate that in every medium that we have. We do a really good job of it when we interact with people in an interpersonal aspect, but from a digital media aspect, we lose that touch because it's not right there, physical, happening in front of us. So how do we convey the same message in the same way through a digital space? How do we raise funds from new and existing donors? So if one of your target areas is to looking at growing your donor base or looking to raise funds or having a fundraiser as one of your initiatives, how do you get the word out and how do you connect in a way that they immediately want to raise funds for your organization? And how do you continue to build rapport with the existing donor base that you already have? How do you engage your current existing supporters? Sometimes we lose that touch. Sometimes we think about how can we keep growing our pages or how can we keep growing the support we have? And we figured about the people that already support us and acknowledging them and making sure that we have an area to just highlight them as they've been with us for 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 plus years, you know, and doing that work. How do we increase our reach by attracting new audiences? So just on that flip side of a token in highlighting our existing members, how do you continue to grow the base to actually reach new supporters? And how do you inspire other non-monetary actions such as volunteerism or looking to assist in any projects in a collaborative fashion? And this can include even more than these examples. We highlight a lot of these areas just because of the work we do daily, but there are a multitude of areas that you can highlight and defining those objectives for digital marketing for yourself, and then defining what those translate to in a social media space. So, biggest thing I like to say is do not overthink your goals. We tend to, when we come to social media, just because it's a new and always evolving space, overthink the process of social media. The biggest reason why I want to go through the process is because a lot of the time, when people start social media pages, like our personal ones, we have no goal for why we start our personal pages. Sometimes that translates to when we start organization pages as well. We just start them and say, oh, it'll do itself, the work will come, the people will know what we do, and it'll grow itself. And that's not always the case. So sometimes we might put in too much thinking time into what our goals are. Like, I want to have 100 people by the end of the month. And sometimes that's not the best achievable goal. How can we make it smart? So social media may seem daunting at first, but with the right guidance and direction, it becomes easier with time. One of the things I incorporate here at UPHS when I meet with members is the first thing that we do is we do a social media plan. So we go through, what does your organization do best? What does your organization highlight? What's the mission? What's the vision? And then we start to break down, how do we translate that to social media? So then we start to look at your target audience. We start to look at things like, what platforms do you want to use? Do the platforms that you currently use, are they the best or most conducive to attracting the people that you're looking for, the audience that you're looking for? So then in that process, I always incorporate making SMART goals. And we've utilized SMART goals. I've first learned about SMART goals back in middle school. You know, it's something that we incorporate within our life day to day, and just going through our day to day and making sure that we get all of our goals achieved within our lives. But we have to also translate that to social media as well when we build it out. So it has to be specific, has to be measurable, achievable, or attainable. I was gonna say, I've heard both ways used, relevant and time bound. So finding those time frames and understanding what you do and how you translate that to the social media space. Just make sure when you're going through the process of planning out how you want to use your social media, don't overthink it. It's really easy. It's really not as daunting as it seems. But many times we start social media in the aspect of the way that we started our social media pages when we start our personal ones. And we always say, oh, just build itself, like they know my name, they know who I am, or they know the organization's name and what we do. But it's time to start taking some time to plan exactly what the social media page is looking to achieve, and then setting goals around that. Utilize this for both individualized campaigns and long-term goals, and even your day-to-day. So one of the things I always incorporate is, if you have events that you do annually, how do we utilize that in a campaign? If you have long-term goals that you're trying to hit within your audiences, how do we incorporate that into a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plan of how social media has helped us grow in areas within the organization in our strategic plan? So again, utilizing this in those areas will not only add to what you do daily within the strategic plans that you have, but it will always keep a focus of what you're doing on social media daily. So we have another one, and I'm looking for some more responses in the chat. So based on what we just talked about now, can you share one social media goal that you would like to incorporate for your organization or agency's social media pages? And a lot of you have already, but if there's anybody who's recently joined us and that wants to give or share a social media goal that they would like to incorporate, I would love to learn and understand what that is for your organization. So we'll take about a few minutes to do it, and then we'll keep moving, because it is a lot of information that we have to get through. So Darby says a membership drive. That is huge. And that is a goal that has to be incorporated, I believe, with social media as well, because you can't do it in just one aspect or one face. I think it's something that is all encompassing in a way. So membership drive is huge. So he says getting them up to standard for ADA compliance. That's a huge thing too. We tend to share information in very siloed ways. So it's either by phone, by email, by mail, but why not incorporate everything? And social media is a huge part of getting that information out as well. Not only to your audience, but to people that may not understand those things and want to learn more information about it. I'll say if we have, oh, Lisa says our role in coordinating and funding services for older adults in a 14-county area. Ooh, you are working in a large area of people. So I definitely understand how that looks and how daunting that can be, especially from a social media aspect, when it's not so much I'm working in Leon County or Jefferson County or Wakulla County, you're working in a region. So understanding how do I connect my social media page to make sure it's not just reaching specific areas of the region, but everything and all the information that is shared can hit and connect with everyone in a large way. So that is a huge thing that we'll go through. We tend to focus on our providers versus ourselves, yet callers start with us. Exactly. I think that's a big thing in connecting with a large region is understanding each of those areas individually and how they all may have something similar in them, and then utilizing that on social media to connect them all. Alrighty, so we'll keep it moving. So before we start to get into determining our target audience, one of the things I wanted to share is some data on what's the most popular social media app that's used by state. So if you look at Florida and you look at Instagram, that's the color is determined by the color schemes of the actual platforms. In the state of Florida, Instagram is the most popular social media app based on Google search trends. So this isn't necessarily saying that they tapped into everyone's phone in Florida and they're like, the most citizens use social media. The most used social media platform is Instagram, but this is just based on Google search trends within the state of Florida that they see, oh, most people search about Instagram more, Instagram posts and things dealing with it than anything else or any other social media platform. As you can see in some other states, such as Georgia, a huge thing is YouTube. And actually, YouTube is the largest. And we'll see some data on that coming up in the next slide. But YouTube is actually the largest used social media platform in the US. So a lot of states use it. I was actually very shocked to see that Montana uses Pinterest. I do not know many people that still use Pinterest. I'll say it was a huge thing for me coming up when I was younger. But to see that there's a state still holding on to Pinterest was a huge like aha moment for me in doing the research into this presentation. But as you can see, a lot of our larger states, New York, California, Nevada, use Instagram as well. But Texas was very interesting to see that they still use Snapchat, and Snapchat is actually one of still the fastest growing social media platforms, even though it's not as popular as your Facebook, as your Instagram, as your Twitter. It is slowly starting to gain that traction again that it had about 5 to 10 years ago, to really incorporating itself back into the fold. So I just wanted to share some basic data and understanding that in the state of Florida, a lot of people use Instagram. So if you don't have an Instagram page, it may be wise to incorporate one into your social media plan. If you do, how can we utilize it more to connect with the citizens and the people that we work with here in our local area? So just talking about that data earlier, these were the most popular social media platforms in 2021 based on the percentage of US adults that say that they have ever used it. A lot of the data incorporated from this is actually a lot of the data that's been incorporated cross-fold. I was going to say these line items were also highlighted in a presentation that we had earlier this year with Holly McPhail, and when she was describing and understanding and transforming your digital marketing strategy. So 81% of adults use YouTube. I was going to say I'm a huge person on how-to videos. I know a lot of us use them in our day-to-day and understanding how we can fix things, create things, do things. So YouTube is a huge, huge market that can be utilized. And we incorporate it really well here at UPHS. We put all of our trainings out there, so they're open to all of our membership and even interested members in seeing. And then we also put out our member highlight series every month on our YouTube platform as well. Facebook at 69%. Facebook, or as a lot of people like to say, the adult app, because a lot of our youth users like to use Instagram and TikTok and Twitter now, and they're like, Facebook, that's not for us. Well, Facebook, as I was going to say, has a large market behind it, and it's grown, especially over the last 15 years, and a lot of the work they've done. And they've been able to buy entities like WhatsApp, which is actually one of the largest social media platforms as well, but it's more so a social platform. It's not social media. But WhatsApp is a social platform that is used across the world for connecting families to others in other countries. So Instagram is third, Pinterest fourth, LinkedIn fifth, Snapchat sixth, Twitter seventh, and then TikTok is last. TikTok has taken on a large growth within the last couple of years, and that is just because of the pandemic. People were looking for quicker ways to get information, and TikTok really started the market of that. If you haven't seen or noticed on a lot of our social media platforms, even YouTube, Facebook, and now Instagram all incorporated. On YouTube, it's called YouTube Shorts. On Facebook, it's Facebook Reels. And on Instagram, it's also Instagram Reels, where they're just shorter clips and utilized on each of those platforms, where you can watch a quick little 1 to 3 minute video instead of watching a 10-minute video as you typically would on YouTube, or a 5-minute video as you typically would, or a live video on Facebook, or a live broadcast on Instagram. They've also started to incorporate the shorter, smaller snippet clips as well into the market, because TikTok set a huge standard of that from the pandemic. So again, this is just the adult market. These numbers would be totally skewed in a different way if it was also including youth. But this is strictly from the adult 18 plus area of social media platforms being utilized. So target audience equals people who will support your mission and cause. In determining your target audience, a lot of promoters, for people that do surveys and use a net promoter score, your promoters are the people that you want in your target audience. Those are the people you want following your pages. That's the people you want that will always be excited and ready to share your posts, share your events, share anything that you're doing, giving you an interaction, whether it's a like or a love on your post and things like that, because those incorporate into the algorithm used on a lot of these platforms to boost it. So that is that conversation of organic versus boosted posts. And we'll get into that a little bit further as we discuss about building your target audience, of how we utilize organic, trying to think of the word for it, organic growth versus boosted growth, where that's where you pay for it to be an ad and they throw it into everybody's feed and they see it every day and all day, and it'll be there for a couple of days or for a month or however long you pay for that span. But in organic growth, when you have a lot of interactions, it boosts the post even more. Not only in the sector of the folks or the target audience of the folks that you have, but it boosts it in the area as well. So as the more interactions you have, the more comments, the more likes, the more loves, positive interactions they have. If you have a lot of angry or sad interactions on your post, it actually contributes to it not being as high. But they're always looking for those positive interactions. So likes, loves, wows, and comments are huge across all these platforms, into incorporating that into your target audience. So where are your supporters located? How old are they on average? What interests or values do they have in common? So it'll be a great thing to understand when we do a lot of the work in our sectors. How do we incorporate the people that we work with every day? How do we incorporate the people that are always attending our events? And how do we get that data to understand what's the demographic that we're working with? What's the age range? What area are they coming from? Is it more male to female or to non-binary? How do we incorporate that into our daily data that we utilize later on? Defining your audience will enable you to target them more effectively with content tailored to their interests. If you understand the demographics of who you're working with, then you'll understand effectively how to tailor the content that they'll receive. Leverage what you know about your current supporters, so their interests, their demographics, where they're located, to help define your target audience on social media. There's usually an overlap between the two. So if you notice, if you go into your followers or people that like your page currently, if you were able to go in and see their demographics and where they're from, where they're located, what they do, you will definitely be able to see that the target audience that you're looking for and what you already have similar interests. And that's how you can continue to build a strategic plan into utilizing social media and digital marketing in a space that will help you continue to grow. So we have another one, and we always do, because I just want to incorporate us into being into this presentation a lot more. But name one area or demographic that is a part of your target audience currently for social media. Who are you looking to target? What areas of people or what areas of demographics are you looking to target within your area and your social media pages? So Kristen says rural and underserved people. Barbara says busy people. I think it's about 95% of busy people that we can probably find. Most definitely. 65 plus. I love that, Lisa. A lot of people like to say there's a digital divide, but how can we incorporate that? How can we find ways to connect them into understanding, to utilize their social media to get the resources that they need? Shaquaylin says, parents, students, and volunteers, the younger generation, specifically for Instagram. Well, Instagram is the way to go. It's the wave right now. Definitely, as I say, as I highlighted earlier, it is the largest growing or largest utilized platform based on Google search data in the state of Florida. So as you can see, it's definitely a huge marketer area that can be utilized to connect to that younger generation. What specifically answers that question, though, is the content that you will put out. You can try to connect with them as best as possible, but if the content does not relate, then we'll run into a lot of issues. Ms. Smallwood says, college students for STD testing. I think that's a huge area as well. I know a lot of STD testing events that I've seen on campus when I was an undergrad were a lot of face-to-face. I would be interested to see how we can utilize social media more to engage that area and to have open conversations in regards to knowing your status and prevention and making sure that we're getting the resources out there to college students to ensure that they're doing the things to stay healthy daily. That's it. Starting to find content that resonates with Gen Z and leaning into it. That's a huge thing. And planning that out and understanding what that content looks like is a huge way that you'll have a win and understanding how that looks for your organization or agency. All right. So I'm gonna move on. I would say I don't want to hold us up. We got about 30 minutes left, and I'm pretty sure I have a lot more content behind this. Building your content strategy. So identify the best social media channels for your organization. Again, once you identify that target audience, understand what areas or demographics utilize specific platforms. Once you understand that, it makes the approach so much easier. Instead of spreading yourself thin by trying to establish a presence on everything, how about you focus on one or two key platforms? So if you know that your target audience, we'll take one for example with Shaquaylin, with students and parents and volunteers. So if we know that's your target audience and we're looking to get more of those folks, we know that from the data we just saw in terms of adults, Facebook and YouTube is a huge market to connect with parents, because most adults utilize those. Those are the top two areas for most adults in the US. For volunteers, it's a wide age range. You can get volunteers from age 15, 16, 14, up to age 80. And we know they use a multitude of platforms, and Lisa says higher, 90, 100 plus even. So we know that that covers a wide range of platforms. So what do we do when we run into instances like that? You find the top platforms that they use, and you're already targeting them in one of your areas. Parents utilizing Facebook and YouTube. If those are the two key platforms that you want to target on, go and focus on it. And then once you get that pipeline established, because parents inherently have students, then start to create platforms that engage directly with students. You've already created the parent pipeline on one platform. Let's see if we can engage a student pipeline that automatically connects to that generation. And then eventually they will all work in tandem to create the pipelines of volunteers, parents, students, target audience that you're looking for. So for example, if you're primarily working, and I'll use Alana's point, if you're primarily targeting Gen Z, you may want to prioritize TikTok and YouTube, or TikTok and Instagram, excuse me. Those are two huge platforms within the Gen Z market. But if your target audience is new moms, and we'll use Melanin Mothers Meet because they're a new organization, and I know that they directly look at helping mothers. You may want to look or find more success on Facebook and Pinterest. Those are just two platforms within data collection over the years on social media that have hit the mother market hugely, is Facebook and Pinterest. So again, it's all about being very specific and targeted to what you're trying to do on social media. Don't open up the floodgates and say, oh, we're going to make all these social media pages, and then you have 5 followers on each of them, and they're like, nothing's working. What did I do wrong? It's because you put too many eggs in too many baskets. If you put eggs into 1 or 2 baskets, it creates a concerted effort to targeting exactly who you're looking for and to creating those pipelines a little bit more refinedly before you start to branch out and grow. Within building your content strategy, take time to determine what content you would like to create. So examples of this include short video reels. So we know that the younger generation, Gen Z, is huge on short video clips now. Reels, TikToks, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, those are the biggest things that connect to the Gen Z generation right now because the information is immediate. We have noticed that the time that it takes for youth to sit and watch a video has dwindled over the past 10 years. They are not looking to watch videos that are 4 and 5 minutes long anymore. They're looking for information that they can get quick and in a instantly gratified way that can get them from point A to point B exactly how they want to right then and there. So if you are an organization that's looking to connect with the younger generation, look at creating short clips. If you create large clips, how about cutting those clips into short, specific, targeted, and interesting platforms and utilizing that? Flyers and advertisements. I am huge on flyers and advertisements. I remember in the past, we had the big thing of putting posters on poles, on walls, everywhere throughout the community. This may say something about my age a little bit, but I remember a huge thing when I was in undergrad is the cups on fences detailing where a party was. That was the biggest thing or the biggest way of finding out where a party was, what time it was, what date it was, and you're there. Those days are still needed. Those are big ways that you can still connect because you don't know how many cars pass by that. You don't know how many people walk by it, and you don't know who you will connect with in moments like that. So advertisement in those ways still work in this generation and today, but advertisements as well as billboards and incorporating that as well. Still utilizing flyers, creating electronic flyers. I'm huge about creating a flyer that has a movable image behind it on social media. So you can take that same flyer, utilize it, put it out there, have paper flyers, physical flyers that you can give out to people, but you can also have the same flyer that has a cool little moving background or music behind it or different things like that, where it just moves in and brings in all the materials together on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all of these different platforms. Testimonials. I am huge about storytelling. And many of the people we work with daily have amazing stories to tell. Many of you hear it daily in your offices about how you've changed someone's life or how you came at the right time or how you provided the right resource to them in a moment where they needed it. Truly. Capture that. It is time that we start to capture these stories if the person feels comfortable. I will put that out there first and make sure you have all media release forms and everything you need signed, or if it's working with an adult, a physical yes or no works. But with youth, make sure you have a media release form that their parents sign and are okay with, because you can run into a lot of issues in that manner. But testimonials are huge nowadays, and understanding and connecting with the story. A lot of the things that I've noticed in grant applications nowadays is grant applications ask for your social media pages. They're looking to see that work done. So what you put in that application, what you say, the services you provide and the things that you do, no longer are the days are you just submit a paper application and they go, oh, okay, you do great work. Here's the funding. No, they're going to go look at those social media pages. And if they haven't seen that it's been updated in 2 years, they're going to go, are you really doing the work? Are you still active? Do you still incorporate connecting with the community like you said you did in this application? Or are you just giving us hearsay? So understand that social media and websites and everything in the digital marketing space is a huge linchpin now to understanding or getting funding from a lot of grantors. They utilize that. They want to find ways to see that the work you do is beneficial to the communities that you serve. And the list is endless. I could go through a million different content areas that you could incorporate in your social media. I think I have even more in this presentation that we can talk through even further. But these are just some things that I love to incorporate here at UPHS to understand and give people a chance to get insight into the work we do daily with you all. I got another one. You know you can't run from them at this point. There's going to be one every time. So share with me, which social media platform would you like to implement or develop more with your organization or agency? And then what form of content do you believe would work best for your audience? I had 2 new messages sitting here, and I just wanted to make sure I got them. Lisa says social media being accessed more and more by older adults as a result of social isolation during a pandemic. That's a huge point. A lot of people lost that ability during social isolation during the pandemic, and that was a huge thing of how TikTok got its rise, is because TikTok gave us the ability to still create and still have content creation going from our homes. So finding ways to incorporate it within the older generation and making sure that that social interaction is not only happening from a physical sense as we start to really get back into social reacclimation, but understanding that there are some that are still socially isolated, even now, because they're not comfortable or trying to find ways to become comfortable in this new age. How do we connect with them still? Mr. James West said, anyone looking for resources, education, and fitness instructions as it relates to health and wellness? Health and wellness has become a huge market in social media nowadays. There are so many content creators just giving away, if it's not meal plans or workout plans in any ways. They are incorporating a lot of these social media platforms to build their businesses when it comes to a health and wellness and fitness area. So that's a huge area. Lisa says, looks like Instagram is a go-to, but we have Facebook and need enhancement. Well, we're going to talk about the back end of Facebook and how we can utilize a lot of what Meta has already implemented within Facebook to help you push that enhancement within your organization. LinkedIn is a finicky area because it's business professional, but it also gives the vibe of Facebook from some of the folks from time to time. So it's really finicky on how it is at times, but it's a huge area that still is utilized for growing professionals daily. So definitely growing your footprint there more is a huge area if you're looking to have more recruitment or just build the brand and have other entities within the area see it. Shaquilla says, Facebook testimonials and the progress of grows. I just got to highlight this real quick. I did some great work with Shaquilla in the past and highlighting a testimonial of her students and the girls that she works with, and including herself as the executive director, and understanding what she sees daily. And we cut it up into a beautiful video, about 2 minutes long, but it just hit every point of understanding what the girls get out of She Academy and what she sees and passes and the work she does daily into them and really molds them into the work she does daily with She Academy. So I just want to highlight that point of it, but definitely getting more testimonials and highlighting the progress of girls. Quick idea could be just having a girl of the month and allowing them to either take over your Instagram page and let them have a day in the life. Things like that show real connection to the lot of the work that you do within it. LinkedIn for older demographic and TikTok for high school sophomores. I was a part, if I think about that correctly, I was a part of Youth Leadership Tallahassee, so I definitely understand the TikTok perspective and connecting with high school sophomores, and then LinkedIn to definitely connect with the older demographic within the Leon County area. Han says, TikTok to reach high school students, short video clips. It's very easy to cut. If sometimes you take the long videos that you already have and just cut really nice tidbits or really nice things that are said out of it into short 15-second, 30-second minute clips, it works instantaneously. Oh my goodness, thank you all for participating in this. I really do appreciate all the responses, but we're going to push on through, try and get this all out of here by 10:55. So now planning and scheduling your content. So once you know which social networks to focus on, it's time to start planning. To keep your posts organized, you can create a digital content calendar, and I'll highlight some platforms that allow you to create a content calendar and to schedule posts in advance so you won't have to worry about it going in day to day. It's already being done for you in an autonomous fashion that just makes work more efficient and effective daily when it comes to the social media space. Always take time to plan what content you're looking for it to schedule. And definitely with the digital content calendar, it will push you to plan even a few weeks, few months ahead, and understanding what content you're looking to push out in those areas. Perfect. So this is where I will talk about making sure to keep best practices in mind when you're putting that calendar together. So sharing stories about people We talk about it, the testimonial. The testimonial is a huge aspect, especially in the nonprofit sector. People want to know how you're changing lives. People want to understand how you were able to provide that resource, or be that person, or be that mentor, or be that friend, or be that listening ear in a moment of time where they really needed it. So take your social media followers behind the scenes of your nonprofit by introducing them to your team, major donors, and the communities your organization supports. So again, if you are located in one area, but your organization hits multiple communities in the area, give them a behind the scenes look in how you go into those communities and how you create those connections, because it will give them a chance to understand the work you do and how much work you put in daily. We all know that we work hard daily, and we work a lot of hours out of the day, a lot of times on our own personal time outside of the workday. But give people a chance to understand and see that, and to understand that a lot of the work you're doing is hard work, as LaShawn loves to say, and I really have incorporated that a lot in my daily understanding of just what I do and how I connect daily. The hard work. Prioritize visual content. So again, getting back to reels, videos, those kinds of content, we know that they far outperform text-only content on social media. People are 3 times more likely to engage with tweets on Twitter that include visuals, and videos outperform static images on most social media platforms. So again, in this day and age, having those flyers that have movable images behind it, a quick 5-second video, a quick 10-second video, those connect quicker and faster and in a more effective and efficient way on social media than just a static flyer that you throw up and put, hey, we're having an event, this is what's going on. Some people are apt to just scroll right on by. If they don't see anything that catches their eye immediately, they're just going to keep on pushing, essentially. So how do we promote or prioritize more visual content in our day for social media? Creating or sharing easy to share educational content. So as a lot of our organizations do, we have a connection with a lot of organizations that work in specific areas. So just to highlight one area, Healthy Start or Leon County Schools, they have a lot of educational content because they are in the educational sectors. In what ways can we share their content to make sure that it's out and easy to share, that it connects with somebody, to ensure that they're learning the same things that most people who follow Leon County Schools or Healthy Start or a Capital Area or Oxford Learning or the Learning Pavilion, they can learn things about that age range of child, or understanding how to incorporate different types of skill sets or tips into understanding youth. Encourage engagement with call to actions. Prior to my work here at UPHS, a friend of mine and myself, we created a rollout plan to Black History Month. We had a book fair, not a book fair, a book drive for Black History Month. And within the month of February, we collected over 600 books for Title I schools in Leon County. And the reason why that was huge in our engagement was the call to action. We made a call to action to authors, and we put it in many different groups, groups that were not only limited to Tallahassee, but to the state of Florida and to the nation, of authors. Hey, have you written a book before? Share it with us, and share in ways how we can get this to our students here in Tallahassee. And many authors responded. We had an author actually here locally that responded by giving 15 of her books to us in our book drive and wanting to do an interview and many other things. So again, the call to action is a great way to connect with a lot of people in drives and initiatives that you're looking to have for your organization. And then consider partnering with like-minded creatives and brands. So again, that factor of collaboration is huge in our sector. We have to utilize that in person and on a digital space as well. How do we collaborate on drives, on initiatives, on events to make sure that we're all putting it out there? If UPHS does an event with any and COCA, like we do a lot, we all share the data together. It's not just a UPHS thing or a COCA thing or anything. We all prioritize sharing it together to hit the widest audience possible, to ensuring that we boost that reach within social media networks. So let's say you're in a place where you're not certain of what content you're looking to create, or you run out of ideas of content that you're looking to do. Here are some surefire examples. Highlight new board members or positive news about them. So if a board member of yours transitions to a new job, new opportunity, have became a part of Leadership Tallahassee or Leadership Florida or new opportunity, highlight them. Highlight new board members that you bring on. I'll use NAMI for example. They just put out that they're looking for new board members. So the 12 to 15 people they may have served on their board, that's 12 to 15 days of content right there where you can highlight each of them individually, what they do and why they're excited to join the board at NAMI Tallahassee. So little things like that just creates content that's always evolving, that's always there, and that's always something that you can keep in your back pocket outside of the usual events that you do year to year. Have a student, client, employee of the month highlight. Explain what qualified them to be the person of the month for that post. So allowing yourself to recognize your staff. We are huge on celebrating staffs that do the work daily within the agencies that we all represent. So how do you highlight them? How do you get them to be that student of the month, that teacher of the month, that staff member of the month, that client of the month, and really give them the platform to say, thank you so much, for everything that you do, or thank you for being a part of our agency. Thank you for being here and just working above and beyond. It's the best way to do it. And again, it just creates something that is monthly, consistent monthly content that you can always share. Highlight collaborative meetings you've had with other organizations or agencies if applicable. So if you've had a meeting with somebody where you're looking to work on an event, just take a snapshot of the two of you having a chat and saying, hey, I'm here meeting with so-and-so, and we're looking to work together on this amazing event that we hope to roll out to you all in the next couple of months. Best way that person that you're meeting with also shares it, and both of you now have a widened audience boost, because people that don't know of the person that you're working with now see that you are, and people that the person you're working with didn't know that they were working with you, now having an idea of understanding what you do daily as well too. So tag their social media pages as well so they can share it to their accounts. And then post pictures from board meetings or committee meetings that you may have to build excitement about a new quarter or future projects that you may have down the pipeline. Again, we do the work so much daily that we forget to highlight the work that we do and highlight how it pushes us to a new quarter, to a new year, to a new just day within our agencies. So how do we continue to build that excitement around our organizations and the work that we do daily? Post a picture. I promise you it will not hurt. At the end of the day, it will only help your social media pages. So I'm gonna kind of speed through this a little bit. We're gonna get through some areas. This is just some social media content marketing rules of thirds. A third of your content should promote your business, convert readers, and generate profit. A third of your content should share ideas and stories from thought leaders in your industry or like-minded businesses. And a third of your content is personal interactions with your audience. And then the 80-20 rule, which is 80% of your posts should inform, educate, or entertain your audience. And then 20% can directly promote the brand of what your organization does. So these are examples of scheduling your content and posts. Meta Business Suite, I talk about it a lot. I utilize it a lot in the work we do here at UPHS. And it's utilizable on Facebook and Instagram because they are owned by Meta. So you can post content on the Facebook and it'll automatically share to Instagram and vice versa. So it's a great way to have ads, insights, so you can see the backend data of who looks at your post, who likes your post, who took the time to watch a video, who took 5 seconds to watch your video, 30 seconds to watch your video. It has so much content on the back end that really helps. Hootsuite is cross-platform on all social media platforms where they'll just control all of the posting and social media content that you decide to post. You just schedule it and it pings it out to everything. It's a great tool. I used to use it when I was in middle school because I had a tablet that was not Android. So I couldn't download Twitter to it. So I downloaded Hootsuite for Twitter, and that's how I posted all my tweets. Don't use Twitter anymore, but that's just a fun way that I got introduced to Hootsuite at a young age. Social Pilot and Content Cow are very similar to Hootsuite as well. They utilize the same platforms in doing that as well. We'll skip the icebreaker. Track and measure your success. So once you start to get that information out there, start to track it. Start to understand why you're measuring it and seeing those analytics and how they grow. Again, Meta Business Suite is a huge area we can do it in, and I can do a whole presentation on Meta Business Suite and just the backend that it has in terms of insights and collaboration and content that they provide and helping you grow. They even let you compare your page to other pages within the area or people that do the same work as you, so you can see where you are and what areas you need to grow in and how they do it really effectively and what you're doing effectively that they might not be doing well as well. So I was gonna say we will have a moment to actually go into Meta Business Suite on our back end for UPHS, and I'll show you how the analytical data is broken down. But for time purposes, we're just gonna guide on past So if you see this little message at the bottom of your post that says this post is performing better than 95% or 90% or 80% of your posts on your page, boosted to get more results, you're doing the right thing. That is all organic work. So there is no need to boost it. It is giving you that confirmation that, hey, you're on the good track, keep going. If you get the one that's opposite where it says, hey, this post did not, meet the markers as 80% of your other posts, or it's not getting out into the audience as other posts have, that's where you may want to look at boosting some of your posts just to build that content bridge back so it connects with people within your area. So if you see this message where it says just get more likes, comments, and shares, and it's saying you're performing well, no need to boost it. That's all organic. You're doing great work. No need to spend any money to push it forward. And we at UPHS, we saw it a lot during our conference and that FOMO, where we had a lot of people go, oh man, I missed the conference. I wish I could have came. How can I come next year? And that helps us go ahead and build the ground running, or hit the ground running essentially with social media for next year's conference, and making sure we connect with as many people as we can so we can get as many registrations as we can to have people attend our conference. So as a nonprofit organization, many platforms have free resources, and I can package this in an email and send it to you all beautifully. And it's every platform, literally. So here's a few that you can keep in your back pocket. They literally help with the planning and execution of having your social media platforms. So Facebook provides a free online training for advertising on Facebook through Meta for Business. It's a huge link, I would say, that I've utilized in the past. You can actually get training and become Facebook certified, where you're very experienced in using Facebook and you can help other organizations with it. It's something you can put in your resume if you're in the marketing or social media or digital marketing field. It's a great certificate to have. I know a few people in the area. I want to say Holly has one and has done a lot of great work with Facebook in her time. So it is a great resource to have. YouTube has YouTube Creator Academy courses, and they can help activate your nonprofit. So it'll show you the back end of how nonprofit agencies use YouTube and just helping you create more content on their platform in multiple ways. Twitter has the campaigning on Twitter handbook. That's more so for initiatives and drives and funding that you're trying to get. And you can follow Twitter nonprofits for case studies that they provide and data, training, news, and opportunities. And then they have Twitter's Fight School, which again is very similar to YouTube's Creator Academy, where it just gives you a guideline basis on classes and courses on how to utilize Twitter to best implement into your organization. TikTok, which I love because it's probably one of the newest ones, but I gotta say it's probably one of the better ones out of everything, is TikTok for Good is strictly helping with nonprofit organizations, and it helps them with account management and analytics assistance. So they directly help you. So instead of you having to take a course or sit down and take the time to do it, a representative from their agency or from TikTok takes the time to walk you through it and understand what your account is doing, how you can better get those analytic scores up, and having more content and more views on your platform so that you're reaching people within the algorithm better. Another icebreaker here, but thank you for your time. I just want to say I had a fun time putting this presentation together. I hope you learned a lot of information from this presentation. I would be more than happy to send it out to you all and send out those resources, those free resources that you can utilize as nonprofit organizations. But thank you so much for your time. We're right at 11 o'clock. I don't want to belabor this point any further, but I really appreciate you all for being here on this morning. And I hope you learned something out of this. And come schedule some time with me. Shoot me an email and we can start to get the work in on building out your digital marketing plans and your social media plans to help you grow.
Thank you, Justin, and thank you everybody for joining us. He really, really is passionate about this, as you can see. So as he said, schedule some time, meet with him, and let's work on getting those social media pages where they need to be.